Troy try to knock off #1 Notre Dame. It's the third Saturday in October. That means the Tide tries to tackle Tennessee. Anthony Thompson could be America's best back, but that isn't good enough for him.
You know, I don't really get to dominate the game like I want to sometimes.
20 years ago today, Texas hogged the headlines and will drum up a major marching band's symbol. Hello again and welcome to College Game Day. I'm Bob Carpenter with Beano, Cook, and Lee Corso. And as we pass the halfway point of the season, a lot of homecoming games around the nation today. We focus in, though, on a huge intersectional battle in South Bend as the nation's #1 team plays host to a rising power from the West. Fighting Irish haven't been home in a while, but it's the visitors we put on the hot seat this week, the Trojans of USC. When Southern Cal and Notre Dame met last year, it was a battle of #1 against #2. This time around, it's 1-9, though it remains a heated rivalry. The Irish have dominated lately, winning 6 straight over the Trojans. USC coach Larry Smith got a jolt when he faced a quarterback change days before a very tough season opener. From a veteran to a newcomer with the responsibility of leading Southern Cal, all because of a fairly simple practice drill gone bad. The reins have been passed, and the Trojans are now in good hands like they were last year. While Rodney Peete garnered the glory in 1988, backup quarterback Pat O'Hara waited patiently and thought about the day the next year when the coveted job would be his. O'Hara played in enough games last year to get his feet wet and performed admirably, though he lacked the flash of Rodney Peete. But there was still one more obstacle between him and his dream. He had to beat out freshman sensation Todd Marinovich for the job. At spring practice in '88, O'Hara's age and experience won out over the youngster's fledgling skills. And O'Hara was selected as the quarterback who would lead the Trojans in '89. But this season, instead of romping across the football field, Pat O'Hara is struggling just to walk. On the verge of realizing his fantasies, the unthinkable happened.
It was the last day of two-a-day practices, a week before the Illinois game. And we're having a scrimmage, and I'm wearing a gold jersey, which means no contact. And I rolled out to my left, and I guess it was a linebacker or some other guys on defense just came plowing into me. And I think one of them's got a helmet on the outside part of my right knee, and it just ripped it up and shattered a piece of bone in my knee.
O'Hara wound up in the hospital with 2 ruptured ligaments in his knee and a fractured leg. After his first operation, further complications arose when a bone chip lodged itself against a nerve, causing great pain. A second operation involved a bone graft from his hip.
The second week I was in the hospital, I was receiving morphine injections every 3 hours. And the morphine is just kills your body. I mean, it helps in terms of killing the pain, but I'd look at food. I wouldn't want to eat food. All I did was drink water and perspire the whole time. And I just shriveled up, and I lost 30 pounds.
It will be at least 7 months before O'Hara is ready to throw a football. He will have one more shot next fall. Waiting in the wings was the red-shirted freshman Todd Marinovich. Never having played a down of college-level football, he had but 1 week to prepare for the opening game against the Fighting Illini.
Well, it's just really sad to see anyone to go down with a serious knee injury like that, and I don't think any player likes to see another player go down like that. But in my situation, I had to go in and really block that out of my mind and just do the best I could do and seize the opportunities that I had.
Call it first-game jitters that caused the upset of the Trojans by Illinois. But the quarterback who is leading the Trojans today is a different player, and he showed off his strength in a memorable 91-yard drive against Washington State. His team down 7, 8 seconds left on the clock. He hit Ricky Irvins to come within a point of tying the ball game. Larry Smith opted for the win, and Marinovich attempted a gutsy 2-point conversion to win the game. And at 6-1, the Trojans are doing something right on the field. Marinovich had his day in the sun, but this week he will face his biggest challenge, the Fighting Irish.
It's what I wanted to be in, this position right here, and it's great. And I'm looking forward to it. It doesn't get any better than this.
One player's fairy tale come true. Another player's nightmare.
Ever since I was a freshman, I knew my junior year we'd be playing at South Bend. And I grew up a Notre Dame fan, diehard Notre Dame fan. And actually I went back to Notre Dame to watch Notre Dame play USC when I was 12. And it's something that I really looked forward to. Playing Notre Dame has got to be the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity for anyone.
While Todd Marinovich thinks about the challenge ahead of him this afternoon, Pat O'Hara has a much longer-term goal. With 1 year of eligibility remaining at USC, he will have just one more shot at his dream. And he'll be watching today as the tradition continues at Southern Cal. Marv Marinovich, Todd's dad, co-captained the '62 national champions who shut out Notre Dame. And Uncle Craig Fertig, a quarterback, led USC to a comeback win over the Irish in '64. That Irish team, like this one, was undefeated and #1 coming in. Lee Corso, how do you see this one in South Bend today?
Well, Notre Dame is #1 in the nation, no question about that. Notre Dame has won 18 straight games. Notre Dame has beaten this football team 6 straight times. But USC can match Notre Dame on defense, especially against the run. No one has scored a touchdown this year on the ground against USC. Even in the cold weather, even in South Bend, USC 17, Notre Dame 14 because of USC's superior team speed.
Okay, Lee never learns. This is a game that means something to Notre Dame. Notre Dame used to beat USC all the time in South Bend. From 1938, USC beat Notre Dame 13-0 and cost Notre Dame the national title. The next time SC won in South Bend was 1967 with O.J. Simpson. I don't know how close it's going to be or it's going to be a rout, but Notre Dame definitely will win.
It has definitely been a series of streaks. Notre Dame 6 in a row, but before that, Southern Cal had won the previous 5. Speaking of 5, there are.
It drizzled this morning in South Bend. They had their first snow flurry there earlier in the week. It's going to be cold, and for a guy like Todd Marinovich, a lot of people think, here's this Southern California boy is going to show up. Perhaps he's spent more days at the beach than he has in this kind of weather. Could that be a factor today?
Well, he certainly won't bring his surfboard and no suntan lotion. It could be a factor, I guess. I don't think it'll matter. It's obviously the old expression, it rains on both teams. This Notre Dame team is loaded. There's talk about if you gave me the choice of Rice or Rocket Ismail as opposed to Marinovich and Southern Cal's best receiver, I'd take the Notre Dame crew. Notre Dame definitely has the better talent of Big, however. Notre Dame's won 6 straight in this series. They've embarrassed, pretty much owned Southern Cal. And I just really believe that this Southern Cal team, they've matured every week. They're not as good as Notre Dame, but they have the ability to keep it close. And basically, Dan, that's why I like Southern Cal. It's a heck of a game. No one beats Notre Dame. They've won 18 in a row. You just don't beat Notre Dame down there. And for whatever it's worth, this is Notre Dame's first home game since September 23rd. Actually, their second home game. And I don't know why that matters. I don't know why I brought it up, but it'll be a great game. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you're trying to get off the schneid 0-3 last week. We've gone with all underdogs. We will see what happens. Well, through the years, the world of college football has featured more than its share of father-son legacies. In fact, Todd Marinovich's father, Marv, captained the 1962 USC team, which beat Notre Dame on its way to a national championship. But not every chip off the old block finds his way into the college football game, following in exactly Dad's footsteps. Our Hannah Storm has the story of Ray Jr., who's not exactly in the same corner as Dad.
The face may look so...
Game against number 9, Southern Cal. Here's what Fighting Irish coach Lou Holtz has to say about that great rivalry.
This is a week where you don't have to say very much, or sometimes where you got to get up there and give 8 pep talks just to get them out to practice. But you don't have to say anything. Just point at the calendar and it says Southern Cal, and I'm sure the same thing holds true for them. I think Southern Cal has a great school, great tradition, and this has really been a class rivalry, and it will be again today. It's the best in the East versus the best in the West on the average.
That's Lou Holtz, and I don't think there's any doubt that there are several teams that all year long, Mike, point to Notre Dame as the one important spot on their schedule. One of those teams is Southern Cal.
And when Larry Smith took the job at USC, he was confronted with 3 goals. Beat UCLA, go to the Rose Bowl, and beat Notre Dame. He's done the first 2. He's been primed all year to accomplish the 3rd. Tough game today. USC has a tremendous defense. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. 2 keys for Notre Dame. They have to get some ground and gain some ground on first down, get that yardage going on the ground. Number 2, pressure Marinovich into mistakes.
All right, Mike, that's coming up later today. Still to come, a look at troubled times. Miami Notre Dame game. Southern Cal and Notre Dame players clashed coming onto the field and brawled for several minutes before finally being separated. That game still to come this afternoon here on CBS.